Hello everybody and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael and today we're going to do something a little bit different. It's not going to be a speed build. Excuse me, man. I still have a little bit of a cough. But we are going to probably be 2 episodes. We are first off going to recreate Wildcat. And then we are going to RMC the thing. So as I'm looking at images, and so some of this might be me kind of trying to look at some images of what the ride actually looks like, because I'm looking at an image right now and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 12 rows or 11? Let me try to count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got 12 rows, and it's this coaster model or type, so that right there should be enough. And I'm going to watch a POV as we go because I've never been on this coaster. And it looks like, so I'm kind of watching it. We head out of the station. And so weird how it's just going so slow. It doesn't even have a slope for the bit. Then it's got a little hill. Okay. So, it could be where once I go back and edit some of this, I end up doing a little bit of a speed build. So I'm actually going to have angle snap off because I'm going to slightly slope this, because if not, this thing's not moving. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting about this is that it says the coaster is 108 feet off the ground, but the biggest drop's only 83 feet. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, so it looks like it does about a 90-degree turn eventually. And so this thing is very sloped. So then so now I'm going to angle snap it. And then we got a little airtime, mini airtime hill. And then we have the lift chain. So I'm going to turn the angle snap off for this one as well, because this is a very, very slow lift hill, and it looks like it's around, my guess would be about 30-ish degrees with the slope. So we're going to go till this is about 108 feet off the ground or so. So now I can turn the angle snap on. No, it's not quite. Oh, hold on. I'm messing up here. Let's turn the angle snap off. So now if we turn this on, hey, that's like perfect, 107 feet. So it turns to the right. So this is definitely GCI coaster. So I'm trying to just get this part as perfect as possible. So we'll go with that. So I'm going to turn the banking offset to 1. So it slowly goes down this hill as I'm watching right now. So it's a very much a Mystic Timber vibes with that first drop. So now It becomes a fairly steep drop once it kind of gets going. Alright, so we get to the bottom of the drop here, and it's still banked, just not quite as much once you get to the bottom of the drop. Okay, so that's about 10 feet off the ground, so then you come up this way. I've never really done one of these recreations while recording, so we'll see how this goes. Because there's a lot of watching the video. Actually, you know what? It stays banked for a second because this thing's like here, and then as we level out, it slowly starts to unbank. It's funny, it says exactly 108 feet, 11 feet off the ground, so that would be a 97-foot drop, so a little bit bigger, a little bit more of a drop than the actual one. So then it comes up, and let's see, when does it start? So it's like once it gets to the top here, it starts banking. And it does almost one of those little... Although it's not as quick, it's a little bit more prolonged. It's like the what you see out of the B&M Hypers and RMCs, where it does like a little dip down as it turns around. So it's actually going down a little bit. Then levels out. Man, this is weird because it's like it levels out a bit, but then once it heads over the track, it never actually flattens out. It's like it stays slightly banked, and then you go down and you see. All right, so then we come through the initial lift supports, and we stay banked left, and then we're kind of going parallel to the station, or to the lift hill now. And my cat is all of a sudden getting in the way. Still doesn't even level out. My goodness, this thing is like the weirdest banking I've ever seen on a coaster. So even when you get to this point, it still is not leveled out. So then we go down the hill, and then it levels out. So then it's like it does the exact same thing it just did, but oh, you know what? I think the initial part is off a bit. Let me see. Might have to. So I think it actually turns almost like 180 degrees, and I didn't do that. So we might have to redo that aspect of it. Like I said, this is never done one of these over a live video before, so. And I've never been on this coaster, so I'm just trying to look at photos while we go, look at Let's see. So then it's like it curves back around. I mean, if need be, I can just adjust the brake run at the end if I need to. So that's one thing that's kind of tough in this game, is trying to adjust the station once you've already kind of got it going, because it does not like to do that. Okay. You know what I need to do? I need to let's see. This needs to be not quite as wide. Yeah, I'm not going through and doing all these custom supports. So that would be insane. Alright, so we come down here. Okay, so actually I've got that start of the lift hill pretty good. So then we bank and we go over. This part's not exact, because this is a little bit too spaced out. Because now it kind of goes underneath and around that helix. Let's see. Actually, this all right, so I'm trying to let me go into Google Maps and take a look at this to try to, because I'm kind of stuck on this part of it. You know what? It was not a full 90 degrees. So let's see. Oh, I don't need to. Okay. I was a little. So it's just like this. So it's just turning around that aspect of it. Then this straightens out. Okay. So I was a little bit off with. So I was thinking it wrapped all the way around it, but it doesn't. So now it'll kind of go like this. Have like a little mini airtime hill. And then it's going to start banking again. All right. So this is essentially going to loop all the way around here. And then where it crosses the track we just looked at is at one of the lower portions of this. So now so we got these little bunny hills. It's going to go right over the station. Okay, so this part I might have to adjust this part just a little bit and raise it up, because this is supposed to be let's see. But then this part needs to be down a bit, because then it's going to slowly, it's going to like hit some brakes. And I'll edit that. And all right, so let's see how this brake run goes. And that goes back into the station. Now the station might not be it's probably a little bit too low off the ground. So that might be adjusted a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, so it's not exact, and that's okay. Um, okay, so you know what? I really should actually... Let's see this. So... So I'm trying to see how this coaster ends. Then we head right into the station. So I wonder if I delete that. Okay. But you know what? That's not quite right. Because... All right. So let's actually take a ride on this coaster and see if it can actually complete the layout. That's going to be the first test. All right, clearly we need to turn down the friction some, but obviously need to, you know what? I think this part, kind of went through this part a little quick. So what if we just raise that up just a tad bit? So now we're going to go through and smooth everything out. And how I like to do this is I like to, which I just did 4 pieces there, but I like to do 3 pieces at a time. And sometimes I will bank stuff out even more because I know these GCIs, which I'm trying to learn how to really do justice in this game. They really like to overbank on that first drop. So I'm really excited for the second part of this because I've never done an RMC conversion in this game, and I'm like excited and nervous about it at the same time, just because I love RMC, so I want to be able to make sure I do it justice. But luckily, I feel like RMCs and wooden coasters are the two of the easiest model types to smooth out in the game. All right, yeah. So this part definitely needs to be raised up a little bit. And remember, we're going to turn the friction up or turn the friction down, because I don't really care about that aspect of it, because let's be real, in this game, the friction is not really done properly, because these wooden coasters lose so much momentum, and I'm actually doing forward a time there. When in real life, I mean, like it's basically impossible to make a ride like the Voyage or Mystic Timbers in this game with how it's currently constructed. Just because of how... Just going to smooth out all that. And then so let's actually take this right here and let's actually move that up. Because I wanted to try to resemble it as much as possible. So as that coaster was going, I was watching the actual POV, trying to get an idea of where the speed was good. So the first drop was good. It looked like. Where it kind of changed a little bit was it had a little bit too much speed on that first turnaround, but then it lost too much speed and momentum on some of these helixes. Like you see, this coaster can't even make it up the end section. So we're gonna have to adjust it. Sometimes like this, I'll just do that just because I know it's like that hill. Just because that really kind of smooths it out a lot more. So that's just one. That's just one round of smoothing. Let's see this one here. That's actually not even a round. That's just one. Let's see. It's one direction of smoothing. So let's see if this is any better. Okay, so I think a couple things is this could be lowered. So maybe just that little, how that was at the end was just too much. And then I think this part as well could be lowered a bit. Actually, no, let's go back. Let's just do this one right here. So I gotta make sure I give the coaster enough clearance on that side. So I think it needed to be banked out a little bit more than that 24 degrees. All right. So let's go backwards this time with the smoothing. And, you know, at the end of the day, it might actually be good if this is not a perfectly smooth coaster because, well, a lot of people say Wildcat's one of the roughest coasters in real life, so then it would resemble it, you know? But I just want to make it at least adequate for this first part. And I am not doing custom supports. I've never done those on wooden coasters. Maybe someday. They just look so tedious. Don't get me wrong, it does look really, really cool. But this thing's about to be torn down and taken apart to make an RMC. So, I mean, it really is hard sometimes to get, when you do recreations, to get stuff perfect just because of, you know, obviously it's a video game, it's not real life, so there's going to be some things that aren't exact. And the wooden coasters lose speed so quickly in this game compared to real life. As I said, I love the Voyage and Mystic Timbers. Those are two of my top 4 or 5 coasters, if I remember correctly, that I've ever been on. But, like, I tried to, just for fun, do, like, a mini version of Mystic Timbers. And, like, you can't do it because it just loses too much speed. If you turn the friction down too far, then it's got too much speed in the beginning portions of the ride. So it's just like, it's literally I don't know. It's just that's the part that I want Planko 2 to do a better job of, is with the friction controls, which, I mean, let's be real, this is already a very realistic game. But, you know, we, as fans, we always want better. Just part of being a fanatic. You expect perfection. I feel like this part could be extended out a little bit. So it kind of does a... Let's see. Somebody's calling me. Hold on. It's not an important call. So it is interesting how this ride is built on, like, these helixes. Pretty interesting. Oh no, it's not gonna work out. That is too unnatural of a dip. Hold on. Okay. That looks better. So that would have totally screwed with the vertical G forces. Vertical G's. So now maybe just to get a little bit more of a... So it does kind of have this, you know, this little dip that it does. Let me watch it one more time, this first part, because I might have totally messed up the banking there. Okay. Yeah, because this part needs to be... This banking here is a little bit more level. And then as it hits this little turn... while trying to make this good, I might have just totally messed it up. Let's see. Okay, let's go back a second on this video. It's a little bit longer of a Helix than I was anticipating, but it's actually pretty good. Let's see. So let's pretend. Let's delete this for a second. Let's see. Oh, here's the thing. This hill doesn't need to be this big. Okay, well now that because we knew we were gonna have to affect the friction to begin with, so let's turn the friction down to 0.7 and see if that helps anything. All right. right, so we're getting closer. It just, this final hill here seems to... Hold on. So let me pause real quick and watch the actual POV. All right, happy with most everything, still not happy with this first drop. So here's what I'm gonna do. Or with this second part. We're gonna do angle snap on. Just makes it easier. So let me... It's almost like it has a little like pop of airtime at the top. And it's kind of flattens out. Then this kind of levels out. But it never actually levels out. Because then, you know what, I'm gonna have this still, even though this isn't properly... It's just like this kind of airtime here is a little bit more sustained. Like, let's delete this for a second. To where it's like a little bit more like floater. So then that doesn't pop all the way back to the ground, and it... So then you get this, then you go up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the stress of building live. No, I'm just kidding. So let's smooth this out a little bit more. And, I mean, I'm happy. I think I'm going to be happy with how this changed. Yeah, this looks a little bit more like it. I need to ride some more like newer GCIs because, I mean, Riding the Voyage and Mystic Timbers, those are just phenomenal. A couple years ago, or even 6 months ago, I never would have thought that two of my top 4 favorite coasters would be true wooden coasters. RMCs maybe, but not true wooden coasters. It's always interesting too to see the banking on some of them. Let's see, trying to make sure this video under an hour, so we're at 46 minutes, I believe. But yeah, always interesting to see the true banking of it. So let's pause this for a second, and didn't mean to do that. Now let's see how this runs. It's probably gonna be pretty quick. Sorry for just hitting the mic right there. It's probably gonna be pretty quick through this first drop. Still happy with everything except this first hill. Just feel like it's just way too quick over this part. Everything else is great. I like how there are a couple of moments throughout it where you can tell the banking is just a little bit weird, a little bit off, and almost like a little bit jank. But I feel like that makes it work even more. Like right here. No, I might be able to get away with turning the friction to normal. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try turning the friction to normal and seeing what that does. No, wait, hold on. What just happened? All right, we're getting there slowly but surely. We are getting there. No, it's kind of slows too much right there. All right, we gotta go back to 0.7. But I think I can say that we've got ourselves Wildcat. It's not perfect, but you know it'll have to do this way. Just with how the friction controls and stuff are in this game. Let me see if. So I think this might be a little bit better. So instead of maybe having that little pop of airtime at the top of it, trying to have this be not quite as steep. Yeah, it feels a little better. Feels a little bit more natural, a little more organic. Yeah, it's like the banking is just so weird on this coaster. And on a lot of old school wooden coasters for that matter. Especially like the Beast. For those of you that have ridden the Beast, there's just some awkward banking on that coaster. But that's part of what makes it so unique is it was built in-house by Kings Island, not a actual company. So now we are done with Wildcat. So let me smooth this last part out a bit. Lower the terrain just a tad bit. And I will end it with an official POV of the finished product. And remember, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I have never ridden this coaster. I've never seen this coaster in person. I've just been looking at POVs as I've been recording this. So hopefully, if anybody has been on this coaster, this can do it justice. And we are dealing with the limits of console or of the game, meaning the friction controls and that kind of thing. So, without further ado, let's take a ride on Wildcat. So let's take a look at the final stats as the coaster gets into the station. And I mean, everything that's red, that's what I expect. G-force is good, but oh my gosh. Max speed was only 4 miles per hour faster than the actual coaster. Biggest drop was the exact same feed because it's like a 83.4. Let me see about track length. Um, Track length 3,000. Okay, so I had about 500 more feet of track, so that wasn't as accurate. Oh, it says max speed 50 miles per hour, so that's only 2 miles per hour difference. Biggest drop 85.2, so I was a little bit right around there on the biggest drop. So I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out. It said G-force is 3.5. This is 3.3. So pretty happy with these stats, how they came to be. So make sure to tune in next week on the same date, same day of the week, same time, as that will be me RMCing Wildcat. And at this point, might be one episode to make the RMC, might be two. We'll see how that goes. But as I've never done one of those before, so I'm really excited to see how that works out. And thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the content that Jasmine and I release. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.